Hi, I'm Tricia.farin, and I would like to welcome you to Keeping the Real in Real Estate Season 2. I'm super excited about this year's episodes as I'm going to be bringing experts in to help me explain to you what's been going on in the market and dispel much of what the media is playing out for you. Today, I'm super excited to have my good friend Erin Hamel with me. She is a veteran mortgage advisor, a senior mortgage advisor with New England Home Mortgage. We have done countless deals together. I love working with Erin, and you're going to understand that real soon. I'm super excited to also congratulate her on winning again the 5-star award for mortgage professionals. She's only one of 8 that have won in Connecticut for 4 consecutive years, and that's like for 5,800 mortgage professionals. So super kudos to you, Erin. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. And I think we should just dive in. With 2024, the start of 2024, people are always asking what's going to happen with the market this year. So let's start with telling us where the rates are today and where you see them going.
Okay, well, so first off, nobody has a crystal ball. Anything can affect the rates. Rates rise and fall depending on market conditions, world conditions, anything out there. But I think everyone in the mortgage business, we have a sense of positivity going into 2024. We have seen rates drop. A lot of our rates are really dependent. One of the metrics that we watch is our 10-year treasury bond. That the 10-year is lower than it's been since almost October. So because of that, we've seen rates start to soften and come down where, I would say back in September, October, beginning of October, we were reaching, into the eights. I've now been locking in the sixes, depending on credit and the type of loan. So we are seeing them come down. And generally speaking, like I said, the attitude in the market is positive. We're all kind of expecting the rates to kind of start to continue downwards. Are they ever going to hit where we were at our rock bottom lows in 2021? Probably not, but we really feel like there's going to be some relief out there.
That's great to hear. And a little scary.
Mm.
The thought is that maybe if the rates come down, there's going to be quite the influx of buyers coming back in. And without the inventory, that may create a scenario as we had in 2020 or 2021. How do you see that playing out?
Well, I can tell you since COVID, we have a backlog of buyers. Every year we're adding more and more buyers. I can tell you, almost every day I'm pre-approving 2 to 3 clients a day who want to get out in the market. And so that's compiling to all the people who haven't bought or were sidelined for a couple years. But really, where the rate is actually affecting it is not the buyers, it's affecting all the sellers. Because what happened was in 2021, everyone who owned a house, if you were pretty savvy, we refinanced you down to a rock bottom rate. So the people who would be potential sellers are sitting on these low interest rates. So we really need the rates to come down so that more inventory, more sellers are prompted to put their homes back on the market. And I think once we do that, we're going to see some loosening. Also, life events happen out there. People get new jobs, people get divorced, people get married, people are having kids. So they can't, not everyone can always stay in their home forever. So I think things are going to start softening that way. The other thing that I see happening is in 2021, a lot of people went out and bought secondary properties. It was either for investments or for, vacation homes. It was the boom of Airbnb. Well, we're starting to see that, with the economy tightening, prices going up for people, what are one of the things that, first things you cut out? Vacations. How does that translate? People who are renting out their homes, trying to cover their secondary vacation homes, trying to cover their current mortgages, they're not getting the the renters per se. So I really think we're going to start seeing people who bought secondary homes start putting those on the market because they're either not getting the rate of return that they were getting on those properties, or quite frankly, if they're tightening their belts with their budget, they can't afford a second home anymore. So I really see, in my opinion, I think by mid year, we're going to start seeing a lot of people put those properties on the market too, which will help.
That's very interesting. It's going to be um, interesting to see what the value of those properties are, because I know if they were buying them sight unseen before at very elevated
Right,
prices, will they still
right.
be able to get the equity out of them, and or even turn a profit at all?
Well, the good thing is, they profit, they might not be able to turn a profit. But when you're buying secondary homes, you have to put more of a down payment down, or investment homes. So you're probably putting 15 to 20% down. Even if you've bought at that elevated price with costs, you have that equity in it at least. They weren't buying it for 3% down. So I have a feeling that at least those people who need to get out for financial reasons will at least be able to get their equity out, and it makes sense for them.
That's good. That's good to hear. We definitely need more loosening of the inventory. With that issue, I see that some of the predictions from last year didn't come out to play because they thought the market was going to crash, values were going to come down, and that didn't happen. The rates, the values for homes did stay pretty elevated, but that wasn't enough to compel sellers to sell because they didn't want to lose the rates that they had when they
Yeah,
purchased. I'm hoping to
right.
see that dynamic shift a little bit, just to loosen up some of the inventory, because there are quite a number of buyers. And if those rates come down, I just see kind of a frenzy of buyers trying to get in. And I just don't want to see them get into that same dynamic of having to put in much higher offers from lists just to get those properties.
Right. I mean, that's coming down to, macroeconomics, simple supply and demand.
Yeah.
The Fed tried to cool off the housing market by raising the rates, and kind of, you know, worked opposite. I don't think they realized, the overview picture of what was going on in the housing market, that, once they did that, then, uh, you know, they just tightened up that whole market, and kind of created a frenzy with the prices. Um, if even if the prices, at least I don't know what you've been seeing, but I watch what the inventory is doing on Zillow or HomeSnap or whatever HomeSnap is now. And it seems like there's a lot of properties, they'll go on deposit, and then a couple weeks later come back on the market, and prices are coming down. I don't know if if you're seeing that too, but I kind of feel like, even if people are locking in at an at an elevated price, once we go through that process, I've seen some price adjustments through, the couple weeks that we're working on closing up the deal. So that leads me to believe that, it's not a total seller's market anymore.
I kind of see some of that happening as well, with the houses coming back on the market or the price coming down. I think sellers are starting to get the right mindset that they can't just pick any price and put it out there and think that 50 people are going to come and put offers in, because the rates were higher. Buyers are not willing to just accept whatever pricing was out there. They're willing to either wait or be a little bit more modest in their offers. They're also not putting down a ton of money. And so I feel like they don't have enough cash. So they're not putting it in a deposit, but they also don't want to have to put it into repairs. So if the inspection comes back with some issues, they're not interested in taking care of it either. And I think sellers are starting to recognize that they have to be a little bit more reasonable, or the houses are going to sit or come back on the market.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, what do you think are the top three things that buyers can be doing to prepare for what they can expect this 2024's real estate market to look like?
Well, no. regardless of what happens in 2024, I tell anybody who's thinking about buying, it, call a mortgage professional. Probably, I like 3 to 6 months before you even want to jump in. Why? Because a lot of times you think you might be prepared financially, but you might not understand what we look at. And it's not rocket science. I tell everybody, there's three things we look at, your assets to close, your debt to income ratio, and your credit. And those are the three things that we qualify when somebody comes to me and asks if they can get pre-approved for a loan. So what that does by coming to somebody like myself sooner than later is, if there is an issue, we have time to prepare. We have time to get the money in the right place that you might need it. We might have time to pay off some debt. We might have time to work on your credit. um, a lot of times, I'll run credit, and somebody with perfect credit, I'll run it and some weird thing popped on that they weren't even aware of. A $5 payment that somebody put on there because they think it wasn't paid, and all of a sudden your credit tanks. So time is everything when it comes to mortgages. So you might think you know what you need to do, but until you have somebody look at it and explain everything to you, then you might be doing the wrong thing and losing time. So in 2024, if you're thinking about it, the first step, and I always say, is talk to a mortgage professional. And I find sometimes people don't call because it might be scary, but I believe that fear is the unknown. And once you know something, and once I look at it, then there's no unknown anymore, and we can lay out a path. Even if I can't pre-approve you tomorrow, maybe now that you've talked to me, now we have a plan. And once you have a plan, then we know where you're going to be, and there's no fear involved. So that's my suggestion to everybody and anybody who's thinking about buying a home. The best way to prepare is just to call a mortgage professional and have them look at everything. 12 months goes really fast,
Okay.
so even if it's something you can't do now, we can get you there. And in 12 months, by the time, if you followed my advice or another mortgage advisor's advice, in 12 months, you might be in a perfect situation to buy that dream home.
That's excellent advice. Well, Erin, I want to thank you for your great insight. I'm looking forward to having a terrific 24 with you, and seeing how these predictions play out. I appreciate your time, and I want to wish you a happy 24.
Happy 24. I have a feeling, I feel positive out there. I think it's going to be a lot easier than 2023. So um, we're going to rock it.
Awesome. Well,
Okay,
thank you,
Trish.
listeners, for watching again. And I hope that you come back for the rest of the episodes this year. There's going to be quite a number of experts giving you insight in what's actually happening in the real world of real estate. And I encourage you to subscribe and follow so that you don't miss an episode. Thanks so much for watching, and congratulations on all those who intend on buying or selling a property this year. And I hope you call one of us. Our contact information will be put into the description in the comments. Thanks so much.
Thank you.